Hi there and welcome to the Wellbeing Whiz Omnicast episode 9. I can't believe we're that far into the Omnicast already. If you've never listened before, my name is Bevan Thompson. I'm the Wellbeing Whiz. I'm a life coach who specialises in anxiety and helping people manage their anxiety and get over their anxiety. I do this Omnicast every week. An Omnicast is basically, it's not a YouTube video, it's not a podcast, it's not a Facebook Live, and it's not a blog. It's all those things at once. And so I try and get the information out to as many people as I can in as many formats as I possibly can. Why am I an expert in anxiety? Well, basically, I say this every week, I suffered myself very badly. Maybe about 10 years ago, my life was an absolute misery. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't go out anywhere. My brain was confused. My brain was always I was always thinking the worst. I had terrible anxious thoughts. I had horrible symptoms that went with that. Palpitations, dizziness, tingling, aching muscles, confused thoughts, sweating, all the things you can think of that go with anxiety. And I actually tried many things to stop this. I tried going to doctors, tried different therapies. And in the end, I ended up solving my own anxiety. I became a student of my anxiety. I learned what it was all about, where it was coming from. I learned about my thoughts. And so what I did, I managed to learn how to control my anxiety myself. And I thought the best way to do this is to share it with other people. I became a life coach and I put together a program to help people overcome their anxiety. So this is why I do this. This is why I try and share it. Now, what's this week's episode about? Well, in the past, we've been looking about how your thoughts create your emotions, how your emotions create your actions, how they create your results. That's well worth going back to look into how thoughts work, how circumstances are ostensibly neutral, the way you choose to think about things can actually create anxiety within yourself. So definitely worth going back and watching those or listening to those episodes if you haven't already. Today is going to be about anxiety itself and how I believe, and actually a lot of scientists believe, that anxiety is actually your friend. Now, I know you can't believe that. If you're in the middle of suffering from anxiety, you can't believe it's your friend. It's probably anything. It's an enemy. Most people see it as the monster under the bed, this horrible creature that's going to sneak up on you and ruin your day. And I'm here to tell you that anxiety is actually your friend. And also, while I'm here, we're going to take a lesson from Abraham Lincoln, which is, again, a random piece of information, but I'll prove why later on. During a session last week, I got talking to someone about this, and this is why I've chosen the topic this week, that anxiety is our friend and it is there to help us. And we lose sight of that because it becomes so over-consuming, so all-consuming, so overwhelming that we forget it's actually there to keep us safe. And I'm going to try and explain that to you today. Now, you know I like a definition. You know I like to look on Google and get myself a definition for the Omnicast. And this week, I've chosen a definition of a friend. Now, I've picked this one from betterhelp.com because I think it was the best definition of a friend. And it says, the true definition of a true friend is someone who has your back no matter what. They watch out for you and ensure you're not in danger. They will never purposely lead you into making decisions that aren't good for you. A true friend will always have your best interest at heart. Now, this is important when we start looking at the definition of a friend and the definition of anxiety. A friend has your back all the time, this says. It watches out for you and has your best interests at heart. That's really key to know that, to remember that while we're talking about anxiety. And let's take it step by step and show how anxiety is your true friend, shall we? If you suffer, like I did in the past, from anxiety, you have constant fear, constant worries, constant swirling thoughts. You, like I say, you've got these nagging worries, your lack of concentration, you sometimes feel sick, dizzy, all these horrible symptoms and side effects that come with anxious thoughts and anxious feelings, right? Now, I can hear you saying, how on earth can this be my friend? There's absolutely no way this could be a friend of mine. Stay with me. Our friend anxiety, our friendship goes back to when we were cave dwelling, when we were cavemen and cavewomen. Back in the day, we had a thing called the fight or flight response. Now, this was built up to save us from saber-toothed tigers, mammoths, danger, all the things that lurked about back in the day, right? Now, like most animals, that response to threat is automatic. It's a chemical reaction. Our brain notices threat, it switches on. Now, we prepare to either fight the thing that's there or to run away from it, hence fight or flight, right? Now, I've got a few notes down here that prove why anxiety and the symptoms you get from anxiety are coming from this fight or flight response. The dizziness you feel is when blood rushes away from your head to other areas of your body. So you're ready to fight, so your muscles are ready to fight, or you're ready to flee. And so this dizziness you get in your head with anxiety is just that blood rushing around your system to prepare yourself to escape. You might get pains in your chest. I got a lot of pains in my chest when I was anxious. Again, it's your body tightening up, contracting the muscles, protecting those sort of inner organs around your body. Again, it's surely an animalistic reaction to potential fear. You get tingling in the end of your fingers, end of your toes, and your extremities. Sometimes your legs go jelly-like. Again, this is all the blood rushing to the right areas of your body to help you escape from this saber-toothed tiger, from the mammoth, from whatever scary thing was attacking our sort of ancestors and our cave-dwelling selves, right? Sometimes you get a funny stomach. I know that when I was anxious, you get this horrible kind of feeling in your tummy, this unease. And again, this is because your body is reacting. It's temporarily halting your digestion. It's stopping you digesting the food. It's prioritizing other things in your life, like your muscles and being ready to escape this potential threat. So you can see how these symptoms kind of are coming from this ancient fight or flight response. Now, that's a good one. I forgot about heart palpitations. Again, your heart rate's increased so it can push this blood around your system so you are ready to fight or flight. Can you see where I'm coming from? A lot of the symptoms of anxiety that you're feeling, that you're seeing as horrible, are actually just physical reactions to the anxious situation that your body is hardwired to do. Right. So the little problem here is that our friend anxiety is a little bit behind the times. Bless him, bless her. They are trying so hard to protect us from these woolly mammoths and these scary situations. They don't realise that we don't live in that world anymore. We don't live in a cave anymore. We don't live in a threatening world where things can eat us and hurt us and all that sort of thing. We live in a world where, we're a modern life, that we've got mobile phones, we've got computers, we've got cars, we've got houses. But our animal instinct is still there. So the problem is that your body is reacting to situations that are not life-threatening, like, we've had examples in the past of your boss calling you into the office, all these kind of day-to-day stressful things. Your body is still having that same anxious reaction as if it's trying to save your life, when your life doesn't need saving. Does that make sense? The reaction you're having is this hardwired fight or flight response to something which isn't dangerous. But mentally, it's scary, so your body is providing the normal reaction to it, which is these symptoms, right? So we're getting the I'll save your life whammy from our friend when, all it is we're being made anxious by social media, your mortgage, the news, falling out with a friend, whatever it'll be. You're still getting that same hit of fight or flight response sort of hormones and reactions. And so this is why you're getting all these things. Now, can you see why anxiety is actually trying desperately to be your friend? It's trying to keep you safe. It's just that we've started to add negative connotations to these feelings. And if getting over that barrier is part of managing your anxiety and curing it over the long term. Now, another proof how anxiety is your friend, King's College did a study of anxious adolescents, and they were less likely to be killed in car accidents than non-anxious adolescents, because the fight or flight response they were having was giving them that heightened sense of awareness. Their anxiety that was in them was making them be more aware of what was on the road, be more aware of potential accidents. So can you see, it's always trying to be your friend. It's just getting a little bit overexcited and a little bit overcautious, a little bit over sort of protective of you, right? Let's look at another example. If you think about people who are in the Olympics, people who are professional athletes, elite athletes, that edge that they have comes from that anxiety that they're in the biggest race of their lives. You know, they get that in the zone, you know, they're on the edge and they're getting that extra power to muscles. They're getting that extra sort of blood flow, heart rate, all that sort of thing. Again, it's just their body reacting to a stressful situation, but they're using it to their advantage. They're getting the most out of that reaction. So you can see anxiety and sort of the symptoms of anxiety are definitely there to help us. It's just that we're getting it twisted. We're reacting to our reaction, and that's what's causing our problems. Now, here's a good one. Would you say that excitement was a friend of yours? Do you like excitement? Like, you know, when you go to a theme park, you go on a ride, all the ups and downs on a roller coaster, whatever. That's fun, right? It's great. But if I was to tell you that excitement and anxiety are almost identical twins in the way they affect you, the way the emotion affects you physically, then you can see that the biochemical response, what you're getting, you know, imagine when you're queuing for a roller coaster, you've got those same feelings, that kind of funny stomach, slightly on edge, tingly muscles, but it's excitement. And yes, there's a little bit of anxiety because rides are scary, but overall, it's fun that you're doing. And these two things are so close, but you would say that excitement was your friend and anxiety was your enemy. And this is it. This is what I try and teach people. It's about learning about your emotions, being able to feel every emotion and label it and know why it's come. Now, your reaction to anxiety, it's not the fault of the emotion itself. It's your reaction to it. As I was saying, you are trying to sort of resist it the whole time. And in my coaching, I try and teach people not to resist the feeling of anxiety. It's about letting it come through, labeling it, feeling it, and let it go. And you're never going to be free from anxiety, right? I never promise anyone I'm going to get rid of their anxiety. What I promise them is I'm going to help them manage it, because anxiety is the sort of, it's a natural reaction. It's a chemical reaction. There's no way you can stop it, right? What you can do is learn to manage it, learn to appreciate it, and learn to live with it. Now, when you start to realize that anxiety is your friend, you start to realize that actually a bit like those athletes, a bit like those elite performers, you can use it to your advantage and it can become your friend. Now, and I know what you're saying, Bev, you mentioned Abraham Lincoln. I did, right? I did. And the reason why I mentioned the old top-hatted president of the USA is he had this amazingly famous quote. Do I not destroy my enemies when I make them my friends? Do I not destroy my enemies when I make them my friends? And this is the point I'm making. When you realize that anxiety is on your side, it's trying to keep you safe, it's hardwired in you from the past, you start to realize that it's a normal emotion like all the rest. All we are doing is overreacting to it. It's overreacting to the situation, but it can't help it. It's trying its best to help you, and you're going, oh my God, anxiety's here. Instead, work with it, work together, realize it's your friend, and realize it's trying to help you. So, I always give you some homework every week. This week's homework is about trying to make friends with anxiety. Now, don't worry about it. It's not difficult. Find a circumstance or a feeling or a thought that makes you anxious. There'll be one. Everyone's got one. Everyone's got a worry. Everyone's got something in their mind that makes them anxious, right? Become that third-party watcher that we've spoke about before. Sit down, write down this anxious thought, right? Look at it. Where did it come from? What am I scared of? And then move to appreciation. Say, you know what? Thank you, anxiety, for trying to make me aware of this situation. I'll try and give you an example. I'm scared of going to the dentist next week, right? Oh, I'm really anxious about that. You write that down, you look at it, you think, okay, yeah, I understand why anxiety is trying to help me here, because yeah, the dentist can be a scary place. But what you need to do is show a bit of compassion to this friend of yours and say, okay, thank you very much, anxiety. Thanks for popping in. You know, almost talk to it like it's a friend. Thanks for popping in, but I've got this. You know, it's just the dentist. I'm going to go along. I've survived the dentist 10 times before. But like we said the other week, you know, take your thoughts to court. I've been to the dentist before. It's perfectly fine. And explain to anxiety that, that is fine. It's going to be okay. And what this will do over time is if you start to notice your anxiety creeping in, and trying to make you aware of dangerous situations that it thinks is dangerous, and you thank it and say, no, we're all right at the moment, we're calm, what happens is that creates an unconscious habit, a subconscious habit in your brain to not pop up too many anxious situations and only pop up when it's absolutely necessary. Like I always say to people when I'm coaching, I used to worry about the tiger in Chester Zoo, escaping, coming down the motorway, turning up in my back garden, coming into my house and eating me. I mean, it's an analogy, but I used to worry that far into the future, that far into things I couldn't control, when really I should have been worried about when the tiger was in my lounge. This is what we're saying to anxiety is, don't worry until the tiger's in my lounge. Don't panic until the situation is absolutely necessary. And we're almost training our mind subconsciously, training our anxiety, putting a new habit in place to tell it when to worry and what to worry about. Does that make sense? So yeah, jot it down, jot your worry down, feel the anxiety, say thank you very much, anxiety, it's very kind of you, but I don't need you right now. Almost like training your brain when we do need it, okay? Now, I've got a big surprise for you next week on the Omnicast. It's the 10th episode, and what I'm trying to do every 10 episodes is get a special guest on, interview that guest about their problems with anxiety, or interview a guest about how they can help you manage your anxiety, specialists and things like that. I've recorded an interview already with my special guest for next week. I'll let you know that is in the week, and yeah, it's going to be great, and it's a different format. It's not going to be live. I'm going to just put it up on YouTube and put it on my Facebook page, but it's a really great interview with a guy, and I think you'll all enjoy it. So if you enjoy the Omnicast this week, thank you very, very much for tuning in yet again. Pop over to my website, www.thewellbeingwiz.com/calm mind. That's where you can get a free copy of my book, Calm Mind. It's How to Worry Less in 7 Days. Some great tips on there. Some great stuff to get your teeth into. But until next time, see you later. Thanks a lot.